we are gone.
Hey, middle-aged gamers, welcome back. Unfortunately, Antoine is not with us. He's being tortured by a dentist at the moment. I'm actually serious, but not serious about the torture part. We wish he was here. He always has some interesting stories, but today Adam and I are going to do our best to fill in the gaps. We've got 6 stories, well, actually 4 stories for you today, just because we know what we're recording. But still, Adam's got some cool stories that have some implications and some ideas throughout gaming. And if you're interested in my other stories, let me know. I'll be more than happy to make other videos about them at another date. So, Adam, what's on the docket today? What is happening that's you're going to talk to us about first?
Yeah, so the first thing we'll be talking about is The Witcher 4. I guess we can call it The Witcher 4. Technically, it's called The Witcher Polaris. They do seem to be a little bit standoffish about calling it The Witcher 4, just because what the developers, what CD Projekt Red has said, is that the first 3 Witcher games are part of a trilogy, and this one is the beginning of a new saga, so it's not part of the same trilogy. So calling it The Witcher 4 is kind of disingenuous, because that would imply that it is a continuation of, you know, the old Witcher saga, but this is an entirely new saga. So right now it's currently just called The Witcher. In-house, they still call it Witcher 4. Everybody calls it Witcher 4, but they're saying technically, you know, it's not Witcher 4. Don't expect that. But we do know that there is going to be some connect between the old trilogy and this new saga, which they said should be at minimum 3 games, could possibly be more. But the voice actor of Geralt, the English voice actor, 𝙃𝙚𝙧𝙩, came out and said that he will be returning for The Witcher 4. He said Geralt will be in the game, but he is not going to be the main character. So the quote is, "It's not about him this time. We don't know who it's about. I'm excited to find out. I want to know. I have not seen the script yet. I mean, I couldn't tell you if I did. This is the thing. So I could be lying through my teeth, but I'm not. Or am I? So maybe he's seen the script. Maybe he's not seen the script. Maybe he knows who the main character is. Maybe he doesn't, but he's not at liberty to say. But he is at liberty to say that Geralt is in the game, is going to be part of it, but it's not going to focus entirely on him." And this has some implications. I mean, obviously, at the end of Blood and Wine, you know, Geralt had finally found, you know, peace in his life. He'd finally been able to settle down, and, you know, everything was going to be nice and good. So, you know, obviously it's good for him that he's not going to have to carry on with this very dangerous work. But it does call into question a couple things. First of all, it calls into question of, is this going to be a prequel or is it going to be a sequel? We do know that the icon for it is a Witcher's medallion. It is a Lynx medallion, which we've never heard of the School of the Lynx before. We know the School of the Cat, we know the School of the Wolf, the School of the Griffin, and what's the other one? School of the Bear, maybe? I don't remember. There's Manticore. There's a couple different schools. But this one is School of the Lynx. It's entirely new. We've never heard about it before. Some people speculate that because a lynx is a type of cat, this might be an offshoot of the School of the Cat. And, you know, as a result, a lot of people think that this game might focus on Ciri. That's definitely possible. At the end of The Witcher 3, one of the endings is that Ciri basically becomes a Witcher. And, you know, she's going to join Geralt in these hunts and whatnot. And apparently she does have a School of the Cat medallion that she got off of somebody else. So, you know, maybe she starts her own school. And that's one of the questions is, you know, is the School of the Lynx, is it an old school that we've just never heard about? Or is it an entirely new school of witching? Because, again, if this is a sequel, then, you know, the Witchers, they have lost their ability to create new Witchers. They've lost the potions that they need for the Trial of the Grasses and the processes that they need for these things. So that's part of the reason why being Witcher is, you know, less and less common, because they just simply don't know how to make more Witchers. Now, Ciri is considered a Witcher. She's not a Witcher in the traditional sense. She doesn't have any of the mutations. She didn't go through the Trial of Grasses or anything like that. But as far as, you know, somebody who goes out and monster hunts and tries to keep people safe and that sort of thing, then, you know, so is the definition of what a Witcher is changing? You know, is Ciri going to start her own school? And, you know, it's going to kind of change up what it means to be a Witcher, you know, this new kind of thing. So that's one possibility. Another possibility is it could be a prequel. You know, Geralt's lived for a very long time, so this could be something that takes place in the past. As we said, the Geralt voice actor has confirmed that he's returning, but he's the only one that's been confirmed so far. So we don't know about Triss or Ciri or anybody else. So it could be something that happened, you know, previously. That's a possibility. We do know that it is going to be featuring some new mechanics and new elements, though. So they're going to be trying to change it up, you know, try to update some of those gameplay. So, you know, obviously The Witcher, the story is fantastic. Everyone loves the story. It has gotten a little bit of grief for the combat not being the best. Another thing is that they are going to be changing it to be Unreal 5. The previous ones have been on the CD Projekt Red's own in-house engine, the Red engine, but they are switching to Unreal 5 now. So that might mean a couple different things. You know, it could help with their development of this. And one thing that they're saying, that the reason that this is taking so long is that because they want to create the tools that they're going to be needing for future Witcher games. So once we get that first one out, you know, it won't be such a long wait between Witcher 3 and Witcher 4 as it will, you know, that would be a long wait because they have to develop everything, new engine and everything. But then once we get the Witcher 4, you know, Witcher 5 or whatever, you know, Witcher 2.1 or whatever it's going to be, they should be able to come out a little bit faster because they've basically done all the groundwork and they're able to put that together. So good news for Witcher fans to see that Geralt's voice will be coming back, you know, so we are going to have at least one familiar face. So
that's fantastic. I mean, I did see a lot of this news. I read something or saw something about the voice actor. I mean, to me, it makes sense from a branding perspective. I think, like, regular people, when they think about The Witcher, they just associate it with Geralt. Like it's nothing to do with the series or the lore or stuff. Like, The Witcher equals Geralt. So, I mean, from a branding perspective, you need to get rid of that connection. If you want to start a new franchise, if you want to start something new and you want people to get behind it and feel passionate about it, right, you need the people to associate, like, this is The Witcher, right? Like, I remember seeing something along the lines of, like, Liam Hemsworth, like, people like, actually, he's a decent Witcher in the later seasons of the Netflix TV show. That's what people said, and give him a chance, that sort of stuff. You know, we'll have to see how that actually pans out. But I think it makes sense. I mean, if this school is about Ciri, I'd be worried about, you know, there's a percentage of the right-wing population who don't like female leads and female characters and that sort of stuff. And they were like, oh my God, now this has also become a woman-led franchise and things like that. And I think that might be an issue, but I'm interested. I know this is still a very long way away, but I'm Unreal 5, not to mention, like, we were going to talk about Black Myth Wukong today, and we'll get to see, like, an Unreal 5 engine game next week, which is what I'm excited about because it looks amazing from the trailers, but how does it run? What does it look like? I mean, how much does it kill your graphics card? Is all things we need to have answered starting next week.
yeah, on the Black Myth Wukong thing, I've seen a lot of people kind of nervous, is probably the best way to put it, because so far everything that we've seen has been done on dev computers. We haven't seen any console gameplay, and so people are like, okay, this is coming out on console, but how's it gonna look? Because, you know, you're definitely showing us the best that it could possibly be. What's it probably actually going to look like for most people? And when I did see something where they said that the console version will be pared down a bit, but, you know, how noticeable and how much was a bit unclear. So.
Yeah, no, I saw the same thing. I think maybe, I don't know, we didn't watch the same video because we talked about this online, but I watched a video from Falcon, and he was saying, oh, the trailers are saying none of this is console. I'm like, oh, okay. Because in the trailers, you see this really amazing volumetric graphics and fire that has volume and different shades. You see the RTX lighting and stuff that's going on there. And there's so much detail. It's a beautiful game, without a doubt. But this also makes me think, when it coming back to The Witcher, right, is that people who want to play The Witcher, it's not going to be like The Witcher 3 ran on a lot of hardware. Running an Unreal Engine 5 is going to force many gamers to fork out $500 and up in terms of hardware in order to play the new Witcher.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the minimum settings for Unreal 5 are going to be, so I don't know. I think my computer might be able to handle it.
No, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Like your computer will be good. I mean,
should be good for a fair few years.
Yeah. Exactly. You'll be good for a few years. All right. Moving on to my story. So I've seen this on our YouTube analytics for a very long time, and I've avoided making this story, but until recently, I've just kept on watching videos and videos. I think earlier this year, yeah, I went to South Africa. I saw my brother's Asus ROG Ally. And when I was in India last year, I saw my older brother's Steam Deck LCD. And my brother has not used his Steam Deck, but I think maybe he turned it on. That's about it. He's very much an Adam and Antoine style gamer for the most part. But I mean, I'm like, okay, cool. So, because usually when we all meet up, I'm like, okay, what are we going to play? We usually have to play like iPad games or cell phone games, or I'll bring my Switch. So next time I'm like, okay, I'm going to get a handheld gaming PC. And I'm like, okay, so what do I get, right? I mean, there's the Switch 2, and we just saw the news this morning, 5 hours ago, that it's not even going to be Q1 2025, right? Which is the one of the things I say in my script for today's video. They said it's no earlier than April 2025 for the Switch 2. I'm like, oh my God, that is a while. I mean, that's 9 months away. No, 8 months away, 9 months away. That's a while. So now let me get into this, and let me drink some water so I can actually make this a decent video.
Yeah, I would think that April would be an odd time. You would think it would be closer to the holiday season, just because that's when. I mean, I guess the idea is that they don't want to bog down. Everybody's trying to get one at the same time, but you think it would be a big holiday season release.
There's like logistics issues and stuff behind it. Okay, let's go. Gamers, I finally have the best answer for what is the best gaming handheld in the world. Drumroll, there is none. Well, technically, there are 3 depending on who you are and the kind of situation you're in. Let me explain. So while there are a bunch of gaming handhelds on the market at the moment, there are 3 that really stand out. After watching hours of videos and doing a lot of research, the first being the ROG Ally X from Asus, the Steam Deck OLED from Valve, and the yet-to-be-released Nintendo Switch 2. You're probably typing out that angry comment right now, Korean, why are you talking about a console that has no firm release date? The reason being that if you're a middle-aged gamer and you're already in the Switch ecosystem, you probably want to wait for the Switch 2 coming out, as we know now, after April 2025. We've got some firm details on it. It's going to offer 4K docked performance, which is, again, going back to older videos, that's something I really wanted. 1080p handheld performance, good battery life, and the usual Nintendo perfection that Switch lovers have come to enjoy. If I didn't have brothers and I didn't see them once a year, this would probably be the thing that I'd actually get. That being said, if you have the cash, there's no reason why you can't get this and one of the other choices I'm going to talk about in a few minutes. Now, if you're not a Nintendo fan and you just want an easy choice, the internet has spoken, and the Steam Deck OLED is the choice for you. I've watched, read, and listened to a bunch of YouTubers and read articles, and pretty much everyone says the same thing. If you're looking for a choice of, okay, I have a break between work, or I just got off work and I want to relax, and you don't want to fiddle around with settings, the Steam Deck is the PC equivalent of the Switch, in the sense that you pick it up and you'll be playing a game within a few seconds, unlike today's third choice, the ROG Ally X. The Steam Deck OLED is going to be my choice that I'm going to pick up come December this year. As much as I've gone back and forward about wanting this portable gaming powerhouse, I honestly don't want to spend time in options menus or playing around with software or install settings or messing around with controller mechanisms. One of the huge advantages I've researched is that the Steam Deck has this huge community where if there's not stuff for this particular game, somebody's already made it in Steam, and you just download it and put it on your Steam Deck. And the last choice I want to talk about is definitely for the enthusiast, someone who doesn't have restricted gaming time, or maybe who plays games in like 1 hour or 2 hour sessions. The Asus ROG Ally X has improved over the previous generation, but at a higher price. The base model is $800, so that's the price of a good phone. It has better battery life, better cooling, and slightly better performance. I've seen numbers anywhere from 5 to 10%. That being said, if you don't have that little extra budget, go with the old version. It still runs fine. You're still going to be playing games at 1080p handheld. This is definitely the portable handheld for those who want games that look really good and you want to play like your dirt rallies, or you want to play your, not Fortnite, but you want to play your Witchers, that sort of stuff. Last note, some people have suggested waiting for Valve's next Steam Deck, but they have yet to come out and firmly say they're doing a refresh anytime soon. They have come out and said they're not doing anything within the next 1 to 2 years. So that's it, gamers. Let me know what you think. Do you plan to pick up one this year? Which one are you going to pick up? No matter how you game, you're still a middle-aged gamer. Have fun, and see you in the next video. Okay, done.
Yeah, no, I haven't gotten into portable gaming since the PlayStation Vita, which was 2011, I believe. So it's been a good while. Still going strong too. I still play it.
I remember, like I said, like there's no reason for you to pick up like a Steam Deck or a Switch, unless there's like something you have to must play.
I mean, a Switch for the Nintendo exclusives, but
yeah, I mean, I don't think you're a huge Nintendo fan, I imagine.
I like Metroid.
See, that is a franchise I still want to go. Like, I love the Mario franchises, but they just all end up being so difficult. And I'm like, I mean, they give you fun times, but I just struggle on the difficulty.
Yeah, I like Metroid. I like Legend of Zelda. Not a huge Mario fan, but yeah, I do like Zelda and I do like Metroid. So can't think of any others off the top of my head.
Yeah,
Super Smash. I love Super Smash.
I'm gonna sing
Mario Kart. I love Mario Kart.
So maybe next year I'll pick up a Switch 2 and then continue the Switch ecosystem, because I've spent. So I don't know, the Switch has so many sales, and I bought so many like $2 and $3 games. So I'll get a Switch 2 next year. But definitely some sort of PC. Definitely the Steam Deck OLED this year.
Yeah, I'll just play on my
So
PC.
tell us what is, yeah, exactly. Nothing wrong with the PC at all. But I just like you gave me the idea of Mika and the Witch Mountain. That's exactly what I'm going to do if I get frustrated about Black Myth. But we'll see next week. What's happening with story number 2?
Okay, so we've reported a while back, I guess a lot of people reported a while back, that Tango Gameworks was going under. They were going to basically just be dissolved and disappear, and it turns out that's not actually the case anymore. So what happened was, I've got to get their name right, Krafton Inc. or Krafton Incorporated? I guess technically it's the same thing. But they have acquired Tango Gameworks. Now, I've looked all over the internet. Everywhere I look, I can't find a price. So I have no idea how much they paid for this. But they did get Tango Gameworks. However, there are a few caveats. First of all, if you don't know who Krafton Inc. is, that's the PUBG company. They're the ones that make PUBG. So I couldn't find, I don't know what other games they make. But they are a gaming company. But they, with the acquisition of Tango Gameworks, they acquired the rights to Hi-Fi Rush. And they have said that they intend, oh, sorry, that's another different quote. They have said that they are planning to expand the IP. So we are likely to get more Hi-Fi Rush in the future, which is fantastic because a lot of people really love that game. Now, there is a little bit of concern because, you know, when the company was said that it was going to be dissolved and disappear. Obviously, that was, I think, right after or right before the founder left. So, you know, they lost their founder. I think they lost a couple other high-level people as well. You know, since the company was said this is going to be dissolved, you know, at that point, did some people say, all right, well, I'm going to start looking. You know, how many of those people have already found other jobs? How many people remain? So there is a bit of a question of in what state is Tango Gameworks? You know, are we looking at like a retention of 90% of their workforce, you know, 95%, 80%, 70%? I don't know. But whatever is left is there. But what was also a little bit odd is that while they will be retaining Tango Gameworks, the IP of Hi-Fi Rush, some of the other Tango Gameworks games are going to be maintained by Microsoft. So most notably, Ghostwire Tokyo and The Evil Within are going to continue to be Microsoft IPs. So Tango Gameworks, GameWorks, yeah, GameWorks, yeah. I was about to say GameSoft. I don't know why, but Tango Gameworks will not have those IPs in the future, which means if they want to make future titles, they're going to have to work with Xbox on those titles. So, you know, there is a possibility that they could work on those in the future. But yeah, if they wanted to say go multi-platform, they could do it with Hi-Fi Rush. They cannot do it with The Evil Within or Ghostwire Tokyo. So, you know, that is interesting that Microsoft is kind of like, okay, we're going to give you this company. We're going to give you this one really popular IP, but we're going to retain the other IPs. How many people are moving over, you know, with this move? Who knows? Krafton Inc., the reason they said it is they want to, let's see, they said, their quote is, "This integration reinforces Krafton's dedication to expanding its global footprint and enhancing its portfolio with innovative and high-quality content. The addition of Tango Gameworks represents a strategic alignment with Krafton's mission to push the boundaries of interactive entertainment." So that does admittedly sound somewhat similar to, what was it, Embracer Group, what they were saying when they started buying up a bunch of things. You know, they're like, oh yeah, we want to increase our portfolio and blah, 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 blah. And we all saw how that ended. So that in itself is a bit concerning. However, Krafton Inc. is the people who make PUBG. So we do know that they have some gaming experience. So that is a little more reassuring. So what about you guys? Are you happy with this acquisition? Do you think this is great that Tango Gameworks can continue? Are you disappointed that the only way it can continue is it had to move to a different group? Are you happy with the fact that it was Krafton that picked them up? Or would you have preferred somebody else to pick them up? You know, let us know in the comments. So, yeah, but what about you, Korean? What do you think?
I'm happy that Hi-Fi Rush gets to continue. That is a game that I still want to play. That hopefully I'll get to play on my Steam Deck or LED sometime. That being said, yeah, I mean, it kind of makes sense that the other two less IPs were not involved. I mean, just because I think if you're the owner of those IPs, you're like, okay, I want to do this, but I want to have more control over it to sort of make it successful, because Ghostwire Tokyo was sort of average reviews. The other game, I'm not really sure, but I remember Ghostwire Tokyo was something I was looking forward to. I'm always interested in games that have magic, like Forspoken was a game that I was really excited about until you played it. And then I'm like, I still want to play it, and it's still on my Steam wishlist. I have not removed it, but it'll be, I don't know, maybe I'll never get to play it. We'll see. But yeah, as for the developer, your question was right. I think I'll be a bit worried about Krafton doing that, just because, I mean, PUBG is PUBG, right? It's a fun game for people. I know people have put in thousands of hours into it and they play it. That being said, like, how do you monetize? I'd be worried about a monetized Hi-Fi Rush or some sort of multiplayer freakish version of Hi-Fi Rush. It would be terrible. Yeah. So we'll have to wait and see. I'll have my fingers crossed that it just becomes another single player game or Hi-Fi Rush 2, and it's just marketed really well and promoted really well, so they get to recoup the revenue and they make some money, maybe not a ton of money, right? But we'll have to see. But I have, like, I'm in the middle of the road. 50% chance if we get a Hi-Fi Rush 2 that's single player, 50% chance it's going to be some sort of multiplayer monstrosity.
That would be a big disappointment, I think, for a lot of fans, too, because, you know, when you get a game and you're like, this is fantastic, I want more of this, and then you give them something else, it's rarely ends well.
Oh, yeah. No. And then, you know, we get the usual corporate speak of like, well, we didn't anticipate sales to be this weak. Yeah, I saw something along the lines of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth Part 2's sales were pretty bad. And so they're saying, this is another video I watched on YouTube, and I guess Square Enix are like, yeah, we're not going to do another like Rebirth or remake series again or something. That's what they said, apparently.
I haven't seen that, but I do know that they did say like, oh, the sales weren't as good as we were expecting, but then the sales were actually, by most people's standards, pretty good. So it's kind of like, what were you expecting? Square kind of has this really weird reputation of setting these kind of unrealistic expectations, and then when they don't meet them, they're kind of like, oh well, it didn't meet our expectations, and everyone's like, it met our expectations. What were you planning? What did you think was going to happen?
Guess the article I saw was like there was such a huge differential between part one's sales and part two that they thought like, oh, this is not worth it, something along those lines. And I guess that was the reason they were like, we're not, in this particular YouTuber reported that they're not going to make do another sort of remake like that.
I mean, I kind of see that. Like if you were to, like with Final Fantasy VII Remake, it's like, okay, this is a great jumping in point. With Rebirth, it's like, well, if I'm going to play Rebirth, I should go back and play Remake. So you're probably not going to get as many new people in the door as, you know, the previous one would have. But, and then also too, I mean, Remake is already on PC. Rebirth is not on PC yet. But yeah, you know, it's like you're coming in the middle game. I think that for a lot of people are kind of like, well, why would I want to jump in on the middle game? You know, I should have jumped in on the first one. And some of the story changes did drive away some fans, so I could see that being a bit of a struggle. But it sold like 3 million something copies or something. So
this is the second part, or the first
think
part?
So. Why wasn't it like 3 million?
Because I read the first one was in the millions, or the first remake. I don't know what the official name is for any of these things, but there was one of the videos I was like, I'm going to share this with you online, and I don't know why it disappeared from my like YouTube history, and I could never find it. I'm like, oh, okay.
Let's see. I'm trying to find Rebirth sales. I can't find it. It says remake sold less than 2 million on PC after 3 years. So the first one sold 7 million. But most of those are on PlayStation. I can't find a sales thing, but I feel like okay. Let's see. No updates from sales, and last announced at 3 million. Rebirth. Okay, so yeah, so Rebirth has sold at least 3 million on PlayStation alone. So, which is less than Remake apparently, because the Remake would be at least 4 million. So.
We'll have to see. I mean, that might be something to its own video. Back when we did like philosophical gaming videos.
Yes.
Okay, fill us in, because we still got 2 IG shorts to record, and I need you to take a photo as well.
Okay. Fine. So the next story then. I do have a third.
Yes, please, sir.
So I do actually have a third today. We were planning on 2, but like I said, Antoine is not here. So third story. So basically, if you've been playing Fortnite, this is something that, you know, it could be a bit of disappointing. This is one of the things that, you know, Fortnite and a lot of these live service games have a very much flavor of the month element to them, where if you are not flavor of the month, sorry, the FOMO is feeling of missing out. That's not flavor of month, it's flavor of missing out. I always mix up those two. FOMO, you know, fear of missing out. So that's a big element to these live service games. You know, you feel like, okay, they're doing this event, or they're doing this season, or they're offering these, you know, things for this week or whatever, and you feel like you have to jump in the game and grab it, because if you don't grab it now, it's, you know, you're going to miss out, or it's going to be a long time before it's going to come back, and that keeps people coming back. Well, that can be somewhat stressful if you're a player. It can also be kind of annoying sometimes if you're like on vacation and you realize, oh, they're doing this event and now I can't do this event that I really wanted to do. But Fortnite has come out and said, you know what? One of the things is on our battle passes, we create these cosmetics. The only way to get them is through these battle passes, and we're never going to put these up on the store. So the only way to do it is by completing these battle passes. Well, you know what? That was the old way. We're changing our minds. We are going to release these cosmetics on the battle passes. That are on the battle passes. However, what we're going to do is we're going to wait 18 months before we do it. So if you, for example, don't complete a battle pass, or you miss it for whatever reason, or especially if you're somebody who comes in late to the game, right? Like I've never played Fortnite. If I jumped in now, I would not have access to any of those, you know, cosmetics, because I was never there. So now, you know what? If it's been at least 18 months, they're going to say, okay, you know, these cosmetics will be released. So you can just buy them straight out. Now, That's going to be a little bit okay. Here we go. We got comments in. I don't know why the Twitch comments aren't working, but Noble Cooper here is saying make Adam wear a bikini for a thumbnail. He wants that to be the thumbnail. I can Photoshop that for you if you like. Anyway, back on topic. Where was I? So yeah, if you, for whatever reason, missed out, you're late to the game and you missed something and you really, really want it, now you can come back and you can say, all right, well, I can just straight up buy that one. Or if you have a battle pass and you look at it and you're like, okay, there's 5 cosmetics in this that are available. I only like one of them. I don't want to pay for the whole battle pass for all of them. You know, you can just wait for 18 months and just get that one you want. Now, they did say that this might not apply to every cosmetic. You know, so they will be kind of announcing which ones are going to be coming out. But you know, it's not just going to be like a big like woof, everything is there and available now. But a lot of them will become available. So, and I'm sure probably at least the most popular ones. Now, I'm sure this is going to cause at least somewhat of a kerfuffle in the gaming community. Some people are going to obviously like this. I'm the kind of person that would be like, yay, this is fantastic. But there is also that feeling sometimes where, you know, you play through a battle pass or you go through and you earn something and you're like, oh, this is so cool. I can show it off. I feel special. I feel unique. I'm really happy and proud of this thing. And then when it becomes available to the masses, suddenly it's not special anymore. It's not unique. You know, it's one thing, you know, it's something that, you know, you show up in a game and occasionally something, you know, somebody comes up and they're like, for example, like in Final Fantasy 14, you know, if there's a event and they release certain cosmetics for that event and somebody comes up to you later and they're like, wow, I really like that outfit. That's really cool. You know, how do I get it? And you're like, oh, sorry, it was this thing, you know, that people got, you know, if they did this thing, they're like, you know, but, you know, people are kind of like, oh, that's so cool, you know, and they pay attention. But if everything's available, they're like, oh, okay, I'll just pick that up myself. And, you know, you don't feel like all eyes are on you. You don't feel like the beautiful princess at the ball anymore. So sure, there are people that are disappointed by this news. But for me, I think it's overall an interesting thing. And I think 18 months is a good amount of time. I mean, that's a year and a half where you get to feel special. So I think that's pretty cool. So, you know, I haven't played Fortnite, obviously, but I do think this is an interesting thing. So.
I totally agree. Like out of your 3 stories, to me, this was the most interesting. It's sort of like, okay, this seems to be like a mechanism of wanting more players to play Fortnite. Maybe Fortnite numbers have changed. One of the things I was looking at the other day, I'm like, okay, what does Fortnite look for YouTubers? And man, Fortnite is still pulling in the videos if you're like a Fortnite YouTuber. Unsurprisingly so, right? Fortnite is still one of the top games on Twitch. I shared that with Adam before. But this also is to me, I've seen this sort of mechanism on the card game side of things, where on the free-to-play card game side of things, where, you know, there's a big sort of like, how do we get free-to-play players to keep playing the game, because they allow the paid players to have competition, right? And how do we make them enjoy all the cosmetic stuff? And I'm playing Marvel Snap at the moment, and yeah, you get gold enough every month so that you can buy a cosmetic card, right? It doesn't do anything. But at the same time, though, one of the reasons I switched to Marvel Snap is every week we get a new card. But not everybody can get that new card because it requires you to have played a certain amount, and then you sort of like rolling these loot boxes in order to get the card, right? And it takes a good, like even like somebody like me probably spends about 30 to 45 minutes playing Marvel Snap a day. Probably not that long, actually, probably less than 30 minutes, but I can get about 2 boxes a week, so that's 8 boxes a month. And sometimes you might spend 4 boxes just to roll for 1 card, as that's the minimum chance, right? So it's interesting, right? But at the same time, it's like, I'm sure there's going to be some sort of mechanism for you to get that stuff, and you spending this stuff and that, and cosmetics are fine and wonderful. I think, especially as an older gamer, you don't really care too much that other people have it, but you definitely love it if that it's not in the battle pass. So I think this is a good move, but to me, this seems like a move that indicates some weakness on Fortnite's part or Epic's part, or some method for them to sort of keep free-to-play players continuing to play the game. However, that sort of, you know, whatever happens, we'll see. But yeah, no, I know you and I have talked about playing Fortnite at some point, but I don't think we'll ever get to.
No, I've always wanted to. I really wanted to play the Save the World. My friends and I
want to go back to that.
Yeah, we were like, oh man, this looks so much fun. This kind of tower defense thing. You know, you go out during the day and you come back and build at night. And it really appealed to us, and it really appealed to a lot of people online. And then when Fortnite Battle Royale took off, and which is now, it's not even Fortnite Battle Royale, right? Now people just call it Fortnite. Yeah, so it's kind of like, I don't know. Like as people know, I'm really big into like the building and the crafting and the construction stuff. And in the Battle Royale, you can't take your time. You got to rush it. And I'm like, no. Whereas in something like Save the World, you could have done a little more of crafty little things. So disappointing, but oh well. That bird has flown, or that ship has sailed, or it's gone.
It's gone. Yeah, unfortunately so. All right, sir. You're going to do both questions, or 2 out of the 3 today. So
I forgot what the questions are. I have to go back and look them up. Hang on, give me a second here. I remember I had answers. All right, let's see. What game takes you right back to your childhood? Games you've dropped halfway and you just can't bring yourself to finish. That doesn't happen. You know me. I'm a completionist. It doesn't matter how miserable I am. I'm going to finish the game. I don't have an answer for that.
I put that in the just in case for like, oh my God, I didn't finish this game.
I'm trying to think off the top of my head. A game I never finished? Yeah, I can't think of any off the top of my head that I haven't finished. The closest would be Final Fantasy 12, but I did finish that eventually. So I came back to it years later. Let's see. What are some good pick up and play games? All right. Yeah. Okay. What games take you right back to your childhood?
Remember, less than 60 seconds.
Yeah. No, I'm trying to think of a game that takes me right back to my childhood. That's not a Final Fantasy.
That's fine. You can talk about Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy Tactics for sure.
Both shorts did like 400. One was 400. One was 600.
Yeah. No. I'm trying to think because I'm like, oh man, 3 Final Fantasy answers in a row. I don't mind, but I'm like, I should probably diversify a bit more.
That's totally fine. But if you want to think of something else, that's cool. If you want to do Final Fantasy, I'm good as well.
Yeah. Okay. Well, fine. I will answer. What's a game that takes you right back to your childhood? When I was playing Sonic Mania, actually, that took me back. I was a really big Sonic the Hedgehog fan when I was a kid. And Sonic fandom has changed so much since it went 3D. I was a 2D Sonic fan. I was not a 3D Sonic fan. But playing Sonic Mania, when it really did kind of go back to the roots, and it was that 2D platforming, playing that just put me back on the sofa with my brother, taking turns in the original Sonic, or one of us playing Tails in the Sonic 2. So I really enjoyed Sonic Mania. That one took me back. The 3D ones don't do it, but whenever they come out with a 2D Sonic, which they've done a couple times, every time, just right back there on the sofa. So that is that answer. I'll give you a half answer for the second one. Games you've dropped halfway and just can't bring yourself to finish. I'll give you a half answer for that. Okay. So games that you've dropped halfway and just can't bring yourself to finish. For a long time, it was Final Fantasy 12. It wasn't that I couldn't finish it. It's that I played Final Fantasy 12, and then I don't remember why, but for whatever reason, I stopped playing it for a really, really long time, like years and years. And then back in, I don't remember what year was it. Was it 2011 when PlayStation had that like month-long blackout where like the PlayStation Network went down? I was playing Killzone 3 at the time, and if I couldn't go online, then I couldn't really play the game. So I was like, you know what? I never finished Final Fantasy 12. I should go back and finish that. But then I had no idea where I was. So I just started the whole game over and then played through and beat it. So yeah, I mean, I could bring myself to finish it. It just took me years. I don't know why I just stopped. But yeah, that was probably the last game that I did that for. Although I will say, and then maybe I'm going over a minute here, but I will say there have been several times, such as Fallout 4 and World of Final Fantasy Maxima, where I played the base game and I buy the DLC, but pre-order the DLC, and then I just never go back to the DLC. That's happened a couple of times. Not because I can't, but just because I just never got back. I never got around to it. So that might have been over a minute. Sorry about that. And then the last one, or do you want the last one? I cannot hear you.
My mind. I said no. Those two are good. We're good.
Okay, we're good. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect.
Half answer.
Last thing. Please choose a Gundam from your background and take a photo and send it to me online.
Online? Okay.
Yes.
Do you have a particular preference? Because I got a lot of Gundams. I got one over here too that you can't see.
But no, it's your choice. Whatever people love Antoine's Lego photos, so
okay.
We're gonna keep going background photos.
All right. I mean, yeah, I got some other cool stuff here too. I got some weird Godzilla stuff. I got some Mama.
So yeah, it doesn't have to be Gundam. Anything you want to highlight on our Instagram and Facebook.
I could do my Godzillas. They're so cute. Oh, here, let me show you one real quick. Look at this. My wife found these. She thought these were just so adorable. It's just this little mini Godzilla. He's chewing on a train there. It's just so adorable. I love these guys. They're so cute.
That is very adorable.
I know. It's just so cute. So I love my little Godzillas.
I saw a YouTube short. Someone did 3 Godzillas, and he had like this really short cat, and he timed it just that when his cat was like meow, and the Godzillas roared at the same time, like roared, and it was so cool. I'm like, oh man, if I had a cat, I'd be like, come on, cat. We're doing some YouTube shorts like that.
There are times where I look at my one cat, not all of them, but I do have this one cat. His name's Yoda, and he's a munchkin, so he's he's got kind of weird leg structure. He's a munchkin, but he's a failed munchkin. He didn't inherit the munchkin gene, but he's kind of like, I don't know. But anyway, he's got this kind of a little bit of a flatter face, and sometimes when he's like kind of does a certain face, it kind of reminds me of some of the old Godzilla faces, and I'm kind of like, oh yeah, maybe, I don't know, Godzilla kind of looks like a cat to me now. So
yeah, I don't know why. Like I see the Godzilla cat one was the first one, but I still see lots of people turning their cats into Gundams as well, which is also supremely weird. And it's not even the same video. It's like different people like making cardboard and paper cutouts and turning their cats into Gundams. I'm like, does that make you excited? I don't know.
Of course, it's super cute. It's cosplay. I have one cat that might tolerate it. The other 3 would definitely not.
But yeah. I mean, that's the other thing. Like, I remember we talked about this online before when I saw the first one, and I'm like, yeah, it just sits still. Like, I mean, of course they've cut it down in the short, but like in real life, like how many times did it take you to do that? To put on the hat and put like some weird shoulder armor and put something on the chest? I'm like, that's gonna be patient.
I mean, cats, they have personalities. Oh, hey, speaking of, hey, buddy. Cats have personalities. So, I mean, they, some are super calm. Speaking of, this is Yoda here. This is the one that I said, when he makes a certain face, he's kind of got that little Godzilla face to him.
I remember the white cats.
Yeah, he hasn't been in here for a while. I'm kind of surprised he showed up. But he hasn't come in here in a long time. What an odd Eve. I guess he heard me talking about him. But yeah. I forgot what I was saying.
Cool. So now we've got everything done, and I think that's it for today.
Yeah,
and then hopefully next week we have to see Antoine. Otherwise it'll just be myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't be here next week, so sorry.
No worries. Very good. All right, then everyone, thank you for tuning in today for the live show. As usual, I should say for this month, next week will be the last time Adam won't be here, and then we'll be back to some sort of a regular schedule on the last Wednesday of August, and then we'll be back to normal. And then streaming wise, Adam is still streaming Zenless Zone Zero, and I'll be doing Black Myth Wukong video wise starting from next week. So not next week. So maybe next week I'll do an impressions video if I'll have the footage if I have the time in order to do that. So I'll try to get out a video as soon as possible. Like, what is the game like? How does it run? So keep an eye out for Black Myth videos next week. And then we'll see you guys next week, Antoine and myself. And take care, and we'll see you then.